Brought the grits today. You free?
And we were asking her what was so great.
No one should ever be sexually assaulted, let alone a child. It's unimaginable what that child must be going through, or the pain their parents must feel. In court, some parents lose control, and honestly, can you even blame them? These criminals are the absolute worst of the worst. And when they face the wrath of their victims' parents, it's hard to feel sympathy for them. Take John Ackland, for example, a story that will make your blood boil. This monster, a 56-year-old man who should have been a protector, instead became the nightmare of two innocent children. When justice finally caught up with him, he got exactly what he deserved. A sentence so long it practically screamed, "You will never breathe free air again."
These cases are still heartbreaking for as long as I've been doing this. And for as hard as the state police, Texas Rangers, and the Child Advocacy Center works on behalf of these children, and as courageous as these child victims, survivors have been, they affect us all.
Here's how it started. John Ackland, originally from Livingston but living in Bandera, Texas, thought he could escape his past. But in 2017, investigators in New York began looking into reports of sexual assault that had haunted two young victims. For years, it turned out that between December 2004 and March 2006, Ackland had been abusing these children, kids who were under 11 years old. The abuse stopped when he moved to Texas, but the damage he left behind created permanent scars that no amount of time could ever heal.
I'm not defined by what my character is not defined by what you've done to me and everything I've been through. And I hope that you never see the light of day again. I hope that you're never going to be around any children.
Fast forward to his trial. The Columbia County Court was packed, and the tension in the room was palpable. Ackland was hit with a series of heavy charges: sexual conduct against a child, aggravated sexual abuse in the first and second degrees, and criminal sexual acts. It was a laundry list of horrors, and just hearing the charges was enough to make anyone's stomach turn. The prosecution didn't hold back. They presented evidence, testimonies, and even video recordings. As for the defense, Ackland's lawyer, John Hillman, did his best to argue the case, but let's be real. How do you defend the indefensible, especially when Ackland himself stood there, denying everything?
Your statement says it didn't happen. I don't know how they can accuse me of this. I was always good to those kids.
Your statement says it didn't happen. I don't know how they can accuse me of this. I was always good to those kids. That's the kind of twisted logic only someone like Ackland could come up with. But let me tell you, the judge wasn't buying it. Judge Jonathan D. Nichols didn't mince words during sentencing. He laid it out for Ackland in a way that made everyone in the courtroom feel the weight of justice. He said,
I 100% prepared for today. If you realize on the second day of your interview that was your last day of plea, sir, because it is.
And he wasn't done. Nichols made it crystal clear.
Today is your day. You will be incarcerated in state prison for the rest of your natural life.
Ackland sat there stone-faced, showing zero remorse, even as one of his brave victims stood up and spoke her truth. She looked him in the eye and said,
I'm finally happy that today I'm able to see justice for what I've been through. And I hope that he's sentenced to the rest of his life in prison, because he should never be let out to harm any other children.
And you know what? She got her wish. Ackland was sentenced to 335 years in state prison. That's right, 335 years. Now here's the kicker. Even after hearing his fate, Ackland didn't flinch. No tears, no apologies, just cold indifference. How someone can be so emotionless in the face of everything they've done is beyond me. But honestly, that's what makes this sentence feel like true justice. He doesn't just have to live out his days in prison. He has to live them knowing he's been completely cut off from the world he terrorized. Oh, and get this. His crimes didn't just impact his victims. Investigators, prosecutors, and even the Texas Rangers who helped bring him down all said this case left a lasting mark on them.
These cases are still heartbreaking for as long as I've been doing this. And for as hard as the state police, the Texas Rangers, and the Child Advocacy Center works on behalf of these children, and as courageous as these child victims, survivors have been, they affect us all.
So, John Ackland will spend every single moment of the rest of his miserable life behind bars. And honestly, good riddance. This world doesn't need people like him walking free. Now buckle up, because the next case I've got for you is somehow even worse.
There's no remorse. The conduct exhibited and testified to is beyond description.
The case of Goliath Van Allen is one that leaves you utterly speechless. It involves 4 individuals who didn't just ruin lives, they shattered innocence.
That you've been found guilty by a jury of your peers to have done.
Goliath Van Alphen from Clave Janine, Wendover Van Alphen Moot from Hillsdale, Eugene Shackleton from Copac, and William Wendover III from Cairo were all charged with abusing 4 children under the age of 11 kids who were related to them.